All right, we're here. Jim was a few minutes late, but we forgive him, maybe. 5-5 trip for the Padres. Bob Nightingale says they should trade Juan Soto. And Bob Melvin is once again calling out his team. So Padres win another series. We talked about this. Like, they can win series, but are they really doing enough to be in it here with 62 games to play? They're coming home 4 games under 500. Please subscribe if you're here. Year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell ST. We'll get to every single super tonight, as always. If you have a question related to the trade deadline that's a week away, click the $ below the chat box. If you want to make sure we see your comment, if you want to make sure we interact with your comment, click the $ below the chat box. You can become a member by clicking the join button down below. Padres looked really good for a couple of days in Detroit. Could not finish it off today. Joe Musgrove allowing a couple of home runs. Padres had their opportunities. Had the potential tying run at second in the ninth before Gary Sanchez flied out. And the Padres come home, Jim, 5-5 on their trip, 6 games out of the last spot in the National League playoffs.
Sorry, there's a massive disaster going on right now in our house. Anyway, with that being said, 5-5 is okay. It's not good enough. It just isn't. I'm sorry. And if Bob Melvin is saying it's not good enough, then we can say it's not good enough. After the game, it didn't seem like he was happy with winning the series. It didn't seem like he was happy with winning 4 of 6. And it didn't seem like he was happy with going 5-5 on this 10-game road trip. You had 2 opportunities on, Thursday night and tonight to sweep teams and really, turn this corner theoretically, right? And be like, okay, we had a 7-3 trip. And in the end, you come home 5-5 and you are right back where you started when you started this 10-game road trip last week. And it's just not good enough. It needs to be better. And I'm sorry, in a regular circumstance, winning a series is great. Going 5-5 on a 10-game road trip, the longest of the year, you would take that. But at this point in time in your season, it's got to be better, and it's not good enough.
Yeah, the only thing that's benefiting them, I'm pulling up a comment from Bob Melvin to Kevin Acee postgame. The only thing that's benefiting them is the National League has been awful. And even in going 5-5, they've made up games against some of these teams that have really struggled, like Arizona, San Francisco, Miami, even Philadelphia. They won today, but they had lost 4 straight. So they go 5-5. They've actually made up a couple of games in the wild card. But this is Bob Melvin postgame. After a 5-5 trip, a winning series in Detroit, our at-bats were better at the end against their plus guys that they bring at the end of the game. But for whatever reason, we just did not look like we were quite into it earlier in the game. Very curious comment. Now, this is a noon start Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Who cares? You know the record in games that start before noon Pacific this year, Jim?
Not good, John, probably.
What do you think it is?
I don't know, 2-10?
1-10.
That was close.
That's pretty good. They are 1-10 in games that start before noon Pacific this year.
If anybody thinks that this team has turned it around yet, there was plenty of signs and plenty of opportunities on this road trip to show you that they've turned it around, and they failed at every single one of those tests. Every single one. The first game of Saturday against Philadelphia last week, when they got a huge clutch hit from Manny Machado to give them a lead in the 8th inning, they failed. Yep. Coming back on Sunday with Fernando Tatis Jr.'s pinch hit 2-run single to tie the game up late in the game, go into extra innings, win your first extra inning game of this year, they failed. Having 2 opportunities at sweeps, you failed. After you score 14 runs in a game, the following day you score 1 run, you failed. This entire trip failure.
I don't know if the entire trip was a failure at 5-5.
Yeah.
But they left a lot. They left a lot out there. They should not have gone 1-3 against the Phillies, and they should have found a way to win one of these, or they should have found a way to sweep one of these 2 series. I think it's so many opportunities. Thursday against Toronto, today against Detroit. So many opportunities to potentially win and sweep a series. JD Gacho, thank you so much for your super chat. If you guys want to contribute, if you want to support the channel, click the $ below the chat box, like our buddy JD Gacho. We'll get to all of the supers here tonight. He says 5-5 roadie feels like momentum versus a mirage. I don't know what happened to Jim. I don't know what happened to Jim, but hopefully he'll be back. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's momentum. And I don't know if it's a mirage. I mean, I don't think there's really any mirage with the Padres, who are 48 and 52. I mean, it's just who they are. And that's why we'll get into the buying versus selling conversation in a moment. Hold on, Jim's.
This is
I don't know what happened to you. But you're back. I don't know what. I don't think 5-5 is momentum, and I don't think there's anything about the Padres that's a mirage. I just think they're 48 and 52. They're theoretically still in it because the National League's not very good, but they're also the same team we've watched for the last 100 games. It's just like, you really want to add to this, AJ? This is the team you're going to double down on. This is the team you're going to trade prospects away from to try to go win in 2023. I stick by what I've said for the last week. I mean, they'll buy, but I think they should sell. They'll buy, but I think they should sell.
I think that they're going to stand pat. I think that if anything, they're going to buy. If anything, they're going to buy. But yeah, I just, after this road trip, I still think that they believe in themselves. They believe that they're going to turn this thing around and have this massive run. That's what I feel like they feel. Yes, I do.
What's that? All right, John and Jim with you here on the wrap-up show. Padres lose to Detroit today 3-1. This is a game where Joe Musgrove came in having thrown really well. He allowed a couple of home runs early, and then Padres offensively just lackluster. 1 for 6 with men in scoring position. Campusano doesn't appear in this game. They didn't DH him. They DH'd Carpenter, who's just been awful. It's amazing he's lasted 100 games. It's incredible he's lasted 100 games. And the Padres in this entire game had 3 hits. Against a guy, by the way, who came in with a career ERA over 6. So you're facing a guy with a career ERA over 6. He goes 6 innings, 1 hit. And you get a hit from Bogarts. You get a hit from Cronenworth. The only clutch hit in this game was Gary Sanchez, a 2-out RBI single to make it 3-1. I mean, I joked yesterday, save some runs for tomorrow. And this is how baseball works. We all get it. But 3 hits against a guy with a career ERA over 6. I mean, that's kind of incredible. And that speaks to Bob Melvin's quote from earlier today.
Yeah, it's not good when a guy with a 6 ERA, you have nothing to show against him, like nothing. It's just a bad look again. You scored 14 runs on Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. You blow away the Tigers, and I even tweeted, I'm like, dude, you better sweep this sorry-ass Tiger team because they looked horrible. And it's crazy because they almost have the same record.
Mm-hmm.
And you come out today and you kind of like prove the point of a team that just doesn't show fight.
By the way, buy or sell, it's pinned at the top of the chat. What do you guys think? At 48 and 52. I mean, really, in any other era of baseball history, you're not buying at 48 and 52, but you got the third wild card and, you're 6 games out. So it's not impossible. And you look at the way, the National League has played here recently. The Padres now find themselves behind the Cubs in the National League standings, believe it or not.
And if you think the Cubs are just going to say, F it, and we'll trade Cody Bellinger, who's been the hottest hitter in baseball.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
Unless they have a stretch here where they lose every single game this week, kind of a stretch to think that the Cubs are. Now, he is a free agent at the end of the year, so there is like some incentive there. But, I mean, good luck.
I think if he gets traded, it's not going to be to a National League team, would be my guess. My guess is you're not trading him to a team that has the same record as you. That just is a weird look. It's what Milwaukee did last year, and it was a bad look.
Right.
And they fizzled, So
and that entire team was like, why did we trade Josh Hader?
Right, exactly. But listen to this. I mean, 6 games in theory doesn't sound bad until you consider you have to pass the Cubs. Okay, easy, theoretically, half game. Miami, they've been awful. They snapped an 8-game losing streak today, but you're 5.5 games behind Miami. Philadelphia's been all right. You're 5.5 games behind Philadelphia. Then the teams that are in the postseason, San Francisco, they've been awful. They're 6 games better than you. Arizona, they've been awful. They're 6 games better than you. Cincinnati right now has won 5 straight. They're 6.5 games better than you. So what's interesting here, Jim, is you're 6 out, which is a lot, and you got to pass teams. You're 6.5 games out of being the top wild card and hosting a playoff series. So like, yeah, 6 out, but 6.5 out from the top wildcard spot. It's just a bizarre spot that they're in right now.
It is. And I think we were texting about this today. Like there's a big possibility that they could get in, and it just would, I think, mask like they're going to be a potential bad team that could make the playoffs. Now, if you make the playoffs, you're going to have a good record, or at least a better record than over 500.
Sure.
But it's going to, like, I don't know, man. It would be weird because right now, like you said, the National League wildcard standings are all teams that are just like, blah. I mean, did you expect the Padres and what the Padres this year to be blah? Now, if they went in the postseason, they made a run, then everything that I just said, like, who cares? And that's a possibility. I get it. That's a real possibility. You make it as a 6 seed, you can make the World Series. Just saw what happened last year with the Philadelphia Phillies. But man, did we all go in this season not hoping for blah, hope they can make a crazy run as a 6 seed to make the World Series. That's how I felt about this team all year long. And I know that's the goal, to make the playoffs. I get that. But like, going into the season, that wasn't the goal, to just make it as a 6 seed and hope.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's get to some of these supers, guys. If you're here, if you want to contribute, please subscribe. We just passed 5,100 subscribers, I think, yesterday. So thank you for that. Pushing towards hopefully 6,000 at some point this season. If you want to contribute and support our work, you can click the $ below the chat box, like our buddy Jose. Jose, thank you for the very generous super. He says, this season is such a crazy parallel right now to my Lakers last season. Teasing me with a 500 record, the West being bad, which helped us, then becoming great. After the trade deadline, I like that comp a lot. I really do. I mean, they started 2-11. Obviously, in the NBA, 10 teams make the postseason in each conference, kind of, with the play-in tournament. But they had some of the best players in the sport, in LeBron James and Anthony Davis, in the postseason. Obviously, it's hard to compare baseball to basketball, but I do like the comp. I do think the Padres have talent, like the Lakers had talent. I do think it's possible. I think it might be a little more uphill for the Padres, to be honest, because you got to pass multiple teams to get in. Where the Lakers, with 10 teams in the West, I mean, they probably have to pass multiple teams, but make up a game or two. And San Diego's got to make up 6 games, which is, it's a pretty big number. I think in the last 62 games, Jim, you're probably looking at something like 40-22, 39-23 to get in. 39-23 gets you to 87 wins, which is what it took last year to get to the postseason. So I think you're looking at probably something like 39-23 to get in, which, again, isn't impossible, but the way they've played this year would be pretty improbable.
Yeah. How would you label this team? Do you think it's a good team playing bad baseball or just a bad team?
I think it's a bad team playing bad baseball. I think it's a bad team. I don't think they're a bad team playing bad baseball. I think they've been a bad team. I think it's a great question. They're just bad. I mean, I can't put it other than that. At 48-52, they've had so many chances to pick themselves off the mat, and to be one of 2 teams without a winning streak longer than 3 games all year is ridiculous. It's crazy.
I guess, yeah. And what I'm trying to say is, and it won't happen because it just wouldn't, but hypothetical, like if you took this exact same team and restarted this season over again, would they still be in this position, or would they be just like a little better, or would they be a lot better?
It's a great question. That goes back to my 2024 theory, which is like, this thing is screwy. Maybe in the end they somehow learn from it. And I don't know if they do or not. Top down, like Preller, and how you build a roster, team, and how you come out ready to go, even when you have superstar talent. And maybe you're just better in 2024. It's back to my theory on why I wouldn't move Juan Soto, because I think they could be a lot better in 2024, even if 2023 doesn't work out. But I mean, it's a good question. I mean, the way they've played is like a bad team. They lose close games. They cannot hit in the clutch. They've blown leads. I mean, they play with no real, urgency. Exactly. And they're just helter-skelter. They can look really good one day and really bad the next. And they're the opposite of consistent. And that's why they're 48-52.
And it's a question that I ask myself. The team happens to squeak in the postseason, like, and say they don't win it all. Is it good for the team, like the overall franchise? Because then they might view it differently, or would they view it that I think they should view it and be like, yeah, this ain't good enough. Like, we can't spend all this money to just squeak in. And that would result in, I'm not saying Preller needs like being fired at that point, but like, hey, we need to really think hard about this roster construction, because we can't spend this money to just squeak in, even though it's great to put down on the paper, like, hey, we made the postseason in back-to-back years. Like, but it has to be better. It just does.
Yeah, it's a hard conversation now with baseball because, again, if you get in like the Phillies did and you're in the World Series, I mean, nobody in Philadelphia looks at last year as anything other than that, I would say. And they won 87 games.
Mm-hmm. No,
Um,
yeah, and it's,
and the Dodgers won 110 plus,
yeah,
and they lost to the
the sport is
Padres.
really the sport is the weirdest sport of them all, man. It really is. You can have the most talent in baseball, and you probably sometimes don't even get out of the first round. You go in 115 games, and you in the first round of the postseason. It's
Right.
not basketball. It's not football. Like, it's just a different weird game that if you get hot at the right time, doesn't really matter what your record is, But to always just bank on that being hot at the right time stuff, that's hard.
It is hard. I mean, we need to talk. I mean, what's important here is what are they going to do? I mean, what's not important is what happened today. I mean, what happened today is they looked like the Padres. They were 1 for 6 with men in scoring position. They didn't score. So they
Yeah,
either blow someone out or they look bad. That's who they are. What's important is like, what are they going to do? They have a week to figure it out. Literally, 7 games, I think, if you include game 1 of the Colorado series. But you would think they'd make some determinations potentially, in the next 3-4 days in terms of what they're going to do. Now, Bob Nightingale writing today, and he's been really low on the Padres.
Yeah.
He writes, says the Padres, much more than the Mets, still seem delusional, thinking they will get back into the race.
Mm-hmm.
They've been a mediocre team all year, and nothing is going to magically change in the second half. They should swallow their pride and trade all-star outfielder Juan Soto, getting back at least some of the value in the prospects they traded away in the first place to land him from the Nationals. Yet there's been no hint that he's available. They instead are likely to shop all-star closer Josh Hader and starter Blake Snell, barring a sudden and dramatic winning streak. Now, remember, this is what they have to come, Jim. They've got Pittsburgh, Texas. Rangers have had their best 100 games in franchise history, by the way. So they have Pittsburgh, who swept
Bob's choking me up there.
I know you're getting choked up. Pittsburgh swept San Diego not long ago. So maybe some revenge. And then Texas, who's been really good, then 1 game in Colorado before the deadline. Let's say things go really well and you go 5-2. That would be pretty good, right? 5-2 against the Rangers and the Pirates at a road game in Colorado. I think most people would take 5-2 any week. They'd be under 500. Probably be 5 games out of a playoff spot, let's say, maybe 4.5. At that point, obviously, they're going to buy. And again, it goes back to that, like, is it the right decision to make or not? Now, I still think they'll probably buy, Jim. They go 4-3 over the next 7 games. They're 3 games under 500, but they're going to draw 3 million people. And like you said a moment ago, like Seidler and Preller, they're so committed to this team at $250 million in payroll. I think the only scenario where they don't, I think the only scenario where Hader and Snell go is where they're 6, 7, 8 games still out, 4, 5, 6, 7 days from now. So that would be my scenario for them. Now, I think they should go. I would sell. If I was in charge, I would sell. I think it's better for the franchise in 2024. I think that this isn't happening in 2023. I hope to be proven wrong. But I think they'll chase it down. I just don't know if it's the wise decision.
And real quick to this great friends in the chat here. Bro, you did not hear what I said. I didn't say I would be upset to make the playoffs. I would be upset if they just squeak into the playoffs and they happen to lose in the first round and them thinking that's good. Like, okay, making the playoffs, that's great. Well, fine, whatever. But the standard's different. So if you think that I'd be upset they make the playoffs, you're absolutely wrong. I just think that they're thinking if they squeak in at 86 or 87 wins would be like, we're a great team, when you had to go through hell and back in a regular season that should not have been the way it should have been.
Well, I think it would depend on what happens once they get in.
That's what I said. Like, if they make the postseason and if they happen to lose right away in the wild card round,
then it's not going to be great.
Then it won't be great at all. It will not be great at all. And Bob Nightingale, I think, is completely clueless on this. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I think he's just looking at a record.
Soto, you're saying?
Yeah, I just think he's looking at a record and not looking deeper. And 0% chance they trade off Snell, or excuse me,
No, Soto.
Soto.
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, after this last week, to see how mid the rest of the National League is, I don't even think they trade off Snell, and I don't think they trade off Hader. I really
agree with
don't.
you.
I think I think they keep, and if anything, they buy. I just do, because they're looking at the rest of the National League and being like, this isn't it. Now, they aren't it either, but they're going to put themselves in a mindset that, well, we have a shot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, if they lose 2 out of 3 at home to Pittsburgh, don't put it past them. They did it to Kansas City. They did it to Washington. If they lose 2 out of 3 at home to Pittsburgh, again, you got to basically something has to happen for the organization to go one way or the other. That's my problem with middling. I said the worst thing they could do over this last 13 games is go 8-5 and be like 3 games under 500. Be like, hey, we're playing good baseball. You're 3 games under 500. You either go 11-2 or you go 4-7, because then you're basically telling your organization what to do. I think if they come out and go 2-5 over the next 7, they're not buying anything. Yeah. But I think if they go 5-2 over the next 7, maybe they are buying. And to your point, the National League is so mid, so to speak, that maybe 5-2 over the next 7 games puts you within 4 or 5 games, and you can actually make a serious run at this thing in the second half. Murray, thank you for hanging out, man. I appreciate your super chat as always. We appreciate you being here. And he says, why does every 6+ ERA starter look like Greg Maddux against us? And that was the case today. This dude who I've never heard of goes 6 one-hit innings. 6 one-hit innings against the Padres. He scored 14 runs on like 100 hits yesterday.
Yeah, and all you need to know about if this Padres team has changed or not is today's game. Like, you think they changed, and then you go and watch today, and you're like, okay, same old Padres. You know, this is the 2023 version of this Padres team. They can't hit consistently enough, and when a random guy's out there on the mound, there's a lot of times when they look like they just give up. And if you don't believe me, I mean, just look at the quotes from Bob Melvin today. Like, that's all you need to know about this road trip and today's game. 1, 5-5, not good enough. 2, putting out that performance today versus a no-name pitcher with a 6+ career ERA, not good enough. And they have to be better still. It has to be better.
But here's what is better. Crazy Raider Rad on this disappointing Sunday night, despite the fact that the Padres won the series but lost to the Tigers today, has just gifted 10 memberships to our viewers right now. What? Crazy Raider Rad. Let's get some clap emojis in the chat. And I want to say Crazy Raider Rad earlier on social media said he's going to hang out with us on Friday.
Oh, let's go.
At the Blind Burrow before the Rangers series gets underway.
I was at the Blind Burrow yesterday for Comic-Con.
How was that?
It was awesome. I had a Ken Barbie shot, and then I had the Barbie shrimp tacos.
Wow. I didn't know they were serving either of those. That's terrific. Will they have those next week?
Probably not. They were delicious, by the way. Delicious.
I like it.
So,
by the way, Crazy Raider Rat said yes. He said, huge homestand. I'm going. Will John and Jim and Chewbacca be at the Blind Burrow on Friday? There will be some drinks on me. Disclaimer, must be a Padres wrap-up show subscriber and avid listener viewer to the podcast to redeem free drinks. How about that? He's offering free drinks. So join us for the Blind Burrow Friday. We get underway 3 o'clock. John and Jim from 3 to 6. And he just gifted 10 memberships. So 10 of you are now members of the wrap-up show on YouTube. Thank you, man.
Awesome. I love it. This is great.
Very awesome.
And I know some of you guys in the chat too, like, you know, talk outside of the wrap-up show and like do some meetups and stuff. I think that's awesome. So yeah, come on down. I know Friday's going to be a fun day because you got the Bochy Hall of Fame and Jake Peavy Hall of Fame.
Is that Friday? I didn't know that was Friday supposed to Saturday.
Oh, you were maybe right.
I don't know. I have no clue.
It's this series. I know it's this series. I just forget which exact day it is. But either way, Friday's gonna be awesome. It'll be a fun time. Even if the Padres are still under 500.
Well, they will be. I can guarantee they'll be under 500
that's right, they will
on Friday. I can guarantee that.
But hang out with us. Yeah, we'll be Blind Burrow.
Huge series, obviously. Rangers have been really good.
John.
What's that?
They're all huge.
They're all huge. Mark, thank you for your support of the Wrap Up Show. Mark Nimitz is our title sponsor. Guys, if you're here, as you know, we couldn't do this without your support. And you also know we can't do this without the support of our partners like Mark Nimitz. He's our title sponsor. He's been with us since day one. We're coming up on 2 years on YouTube in about a month, I think. So thank you, Mark, for your support of this channel. Over 5,000 subscribers strong, tens of thousands of views. We're pushing 1 million all-time views. We'll hit that later on this season. If you have insurance needs, you have to get in contact with Mark. It's as simple as that. Rules are rules. You can click the link in the description down below to get to Mark's website. I've got homeowners, earthquake, and life insurance through Mark. He can save you $750 or more by switching your insurance over to him. He's an amazing insurance agent. You can take that from me. I had to file a claim in 2022, and he made everything seamless and easy during a very difficult time, and he saved us thousands of dollars. So you can get to his website. You can get free quotes online. You can call him. He'll talk to you about the Padres. He'll save you money on your insurance. He's a great insurance agent. He's a San Diegan, a lifelong Padres fan. The next time you have a renewal, the next time you're looking for more information on a policy, before you do anything, get in contact with Mark Nimitz. Click the link in the description down below, and thank you for your support of our title sponsor.
Yep, all his information is above my head, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap Up Show sent you.
All right. So again, John and Jim with you. Please subscribe if you're here. Smash the like button for us. We really do appreciate your support with the super chats, with the memberships. If you want to become a member, 10 of you are just gifted memberships. You can click that join button down below. If you want to make sure we get your comment here tonight, you can click the $ below the chat box. So again, Padres coming home. They'll play tomorrow against Pittsburgh, the first of a 3-game series. And we shall see. I mean, you got Yu Darvish, followed by Blake Snell. I mean, you love their starting pitching. They have to get Michael Wacha back. I thought Wolf was really good considering the circumstances yesterday. There was that rain delay, and he came back out after an hour and went 5 innings, 1 run. No, 5 innings, 3 runs.
I'll say this about Jackson Wolf. Super cool moment. Like, if that's your major league debut, there's 0% chance you're letting a rain delay stop you from going back out there, I feel like. So just the pure adrenaline alone got him through 5 innings, and the offense took care of the rest. But I will say, if that is his stuff, that's a little scary. I think he maybe had 1 or 2 swings and misses, maybe not even that. Low 90s. The strikeout that he got was not a strikeout; it was a gift. His stuff concerns me. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's a cool moment for him.
Yeah, I mean, lefty, young lefty. I mean, it's his first appearance. I mean, lefties can throw with less velocity than righties. I'm not overly concerned about swings and misses in one. I mean, it's your big league debut. I mean, things can go haywire in a big league debut. To go 5 innings, allowing just 3 runs, that's better than him striking out 7 and not going 5 innings. I thought it was pretty good.
It was great for the circumstances that he was in. It's exactly what they needed.
I was shocked he went back out there in the second inning. Absolutely, I'm shocked the organization allowed it.
I just will be scared if we see a lot of him. That's all.
Well, you won't see him next turn because they just optioned him down.
I know.
So I don't know who will be next up, but it won't be him. I don't know if it'll be Wacha. I don't know if it'll be Weathers. I don't know if it'll be Groom. I have no idea. I don't know if it'll be bullpen day. But again, you can't really complain about their starting pitching. That's the one thing we can't complain about.
It's not the problem at all. It's not absolutely not the problem with this team, even though the Wacha injury does concern me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The innings for Lugo concern me. That's all concerning. For sure.
100%. I mean, if you want to blame something, and there's just no way. This is how I look at this. Matt Carpenter's time as a Padre is about to run out. If it's not in the second year.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll last through the trade deadline would be my guess. Sometimes you make those real changes at the deadline where you just make moves. They had to do it last year with the Soto trade, obviously. I think Carpenter just has to go. It's been there have been a lot of Padres that have had bad years, and then there's Matt Carpenter's year, which has been flat out awful. 600 OPS, all kinds of big opportunities squandered with men on base, including here today. So I think his days are numbered. And then the question is, can they upgrade with the Grishams? I like Campusano. I think he'll get the lion's share of playing time moving forward. I think Sanchez has had some nice moments. Cronenworth is Cronenworth. I mean, it's an $80 million deal. I mean, you're not upgrading there. Kim's been really good. So it's like, can you get better at DH? Can you get better in center field? And are you willing to do that when you're 4 or 5 or 6 games under 500 or 2 or 3 or 4 games under 500? But the Carpenter experiment, I can't believe they're doing this. I mean, for what? I just do not understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't get it. I saw a lot of this on social media on X today. Did you know that?
Yes.
On X, yeah. I will never call that site X. I don't care what anybody says.
You just
I will never. I know I did, but I was joking. I will never call that stupid site X. A lot of people upset about Luis Campusano not starting again. Like, dude's played back-to-back games. He's gonna get a rest here.
Can't DH though.
But then who's your other? I mean, they have to have someone on their bench as a catcher.
That's so dumb.
I know it's
I mean, it's so
I know it
stupid.
is.
1 out of 162. What's going to happen? You lose your DH. I don't.
Carpenter needs to be gone like yesterday. That is a horrible contract. It's not. I mean, it's just a horrible thing when he's in the lineup. He is
It's crazy.
So bad.
And like everything else, I mean, listen, Soto's been unbelievable hitless today. Machado's been unbelievable hitless today. Tatis has been solid hitless today. And there's days like this, obviously, but it's one thing if it's a day like this and you're facing, Dustin May. Right? It's one thing if it's just not. And I saw someone say, like, oh, the Padres are, they can't hit good pitching and they feast on bad pitching. I'm like, but what about days like today? They don't even feast on bad pitching. Now they can. I still think the offense has been a lot better since like June 1st. And if the numbers would prove it, I guarantee it, April 1st through the end of May, they look like trash. June on, they look half decent. But there's still these inexplicable days against a bad team with a golden opportunity where you have 3 hits. It's one thing if they lost today 9-8 or Joe Musgrove got pounded and allowed 8 runs in 2 innings. And I could live with it, by the way, because he's been so good. So what? So if Joe Musgrove isn't good, so what? But to have 3 hits against bad pitching is literally inexcusable. That's how I look at it. And I cannot explain that. That to me is the most frustrating part.
And Mike, excuse me, sorry, Mike. And Joe Wood is even bad today.
Oh, he was fine. 6 innings, 3 runs.
Like, I mean, 16, 3 runs. A lot of pitchers in this league would die to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the guy on the mound today for the Tigers, he was waiting for that 16, 3 runs. And guess what? He did better than that.
Right.
But Joe pitched okay. He pitched fine. That should not, this loss should not be on Joe at all. He gets the loss, but again, that this one was on the offense today. Again, like it's been too many times this year.
This is a funny comment, man.
Kept Carpenter in this lineup still.
I seriously, like, would Carpenter have like an 800 OPS with the
Savannah Bananas? Would he even start for them?
Probably not. He'd be a nice bench piece.
I mean, he's just geared up for like
retirement,
softball league.
I mean, I feel it sucks because you know what? It's not even. I'm sure he's trying. It's not that, but it's like professional baseball, and it's a bad contract, and they paid him off how many games last year with the Yankees where he was good? 40. And they've done that a few too many times, and it's a 2-year deal. It's one thing if it was a 1-year deal like Nelson Cruz, and you just cut him a 2-year deal. It just made no sense. And I think he had like a good game maybe in Mexico when I was there. Maybe.
He maybe had – I know stretch to start the year, and you're like, holy shit, he's like 890 OPS. And then that was the last time he got hit.
Man. Yeah, like Scott says, $12 million for a DH they can't hit. I mean, it looked good on paper, the idea. Cruz, Carpenter, like, oh, a couple of veterans. Yeah, sure. Makes sense. It's been a disaster. And you have enough where, like, I'm almost surprised Tatis is playing right as often as he's played, and they haven't, like, spelled him more at DH, or Soto hasn't been spelled more at DH, or Machado hasn't been put more at DH. Bogarts with the wrist hasn't put more at DH. Like, you can rotate guys through. Yeah. Cronenworth hasn't hit, but you get my point.
Because Carpenter's not playing at all in the field.
Right.
So he's literally just a DH for you. It just doesn't make any sense. If he makes it past the trade deadline, like he's got something on somebody in there, because that is That's a DFA written all over that guy.
It really is. Put this in the chat, by the way. Final Padres record. Put that in the chat. We'll pull some up in a moment after we tell you about our partner here on the wrap-up show, our friends over at Aura, ora.organic. You can click the link in the description down below. This is a great company. Their co-founder, Will, is a San Diegan and a huge Padres fan. They've been a longtime supporter of this channel, probably around a year and a half at this point. And if you're looking to get healthier, it starts with Aura. It really does. I've been taking their probiotic for over a year. It's an amazing product for digestion and heart health and mental clarity. So get their probiotic. They have proteins for after workouts. They have pre-workout supplements. They have omega-3 oils. If you're taking a fish oil, you should be taking their omega-3 oil because it's plant-based. They have sleep pills and immunity pills and products for every single one of you, your spouse, your family, your friends. And it's an amazing company. You can shop and browse while you watch or listen to the wrap-up show, ora.organic, or click the link in the description down below. Again, if you support our channel, please support our local partners like our friend Will, the co-founder of Aura, ora.organic.
Yeah, go there right now. They have everything you need to live a healthy lifestyle. If you still are looking to shape out that summer bod, just go to Aura, get some supplements. That's a good start for sure. You'll start feeling better about yourself. You want to live a healthy lifestyle. www.ora.organic. Pick up some stuff. Cleanest in the market, all plant-based, all organic. And once you get it and try it out, you'll be thanking us later.
You want to throw out a final record for the Padres on this Sunday night?
Yeah, 85 and 77.
85 and 77. So the way so you see a big run coming because
85 and 77, and you miss out by 2 games.
So you see them going 37 and 25. Is that right? Yep, yeah. 37 and 25. That's pretty good baseball.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking about, like, it's hard to fathom them not having one run in them.
Like, I agree with that.
It is hard. Now, I still am I got to see it to believe it portion of the year. Like, I got to see this thing to believe it for sure. But to not win more than 3 games in a row one time all year,
I know.
Like, that's hard to imagine, especially if you're quasi-healthy.
It is, to Chad's point, the worst possible scenario, by the way. This is my fear. My fear is they keep Hader and Snell, and they miss the postseason. There's no problem if they keep Hader and Snell and they make the postseason. That's great. That's the goal. But if they keep Hader and Snell, Lugo, whomever else might be available, not Soto, I wouldn't move them. And then they miss out. That would be the worst possible scenario for me. I guess what would be worse is if they go like 75 and 87 and they buy at the deadline and they look worse on the other side of it. But
dude, if you go 75, if you win 75 games this year, you're fired. I mean, Bob's probably getting fired, and the heat will be the hottest it's ever been on AJ Preller from us, fan base, and national media.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know if they're pacing to win because they're under 5. I mean, they're pacing to win, 78 games? Something like that. Maybe less, maybe more. 78, 79, 77. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I feel like there is a run in them. I just don't know if it'll be good enough. I'm with you. I'll say one fewer win than that. I'll say 84 and 78, which also won't be good enough. I think they'll make a run. I think they might even, who knows, being just 6 games out of a playoff spot means at some point maybe they get even or within a game, but can they finish it off? I mean, I like their starting pitching, and I like Hader. We'll see about Suarez. I like the big 4. It's like they're not going to win 4 games in a row all year. And if they do win 4 or 5 in a row at some point, then they're going to pull to within 3 games of a playoff spot. So if they pull within 3 games of a playoff spot, can they finish it off? Yep. That's how it seems. It seems like they're going to win 4 or 5 in a row at some point because every team in baseball has done that. They're not going to do it. That's crazy.
And guys, it does not get easier for this team. I wish it did, but it doesn't. I mean, their September schedule is fucking brutal.
It's not like that 2021 though.
No, but
I looked at it recently. It's not great, but it's nowhere near that. So okay, you want to pull up September?
Yeah. So
San Fran and Philly at home. Houston on the road. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that. But if you look, I mean, Houston hasn't necessarily been Houston this year. Dodgers on the road. Sure, they own the Padres, but they haven't exactly been the Dodgers either. They're not winning 100 games. Oakland's awful on the road. Colorado at home, awful. St. Louis at home, awful. San Francisco on the road. White Sox, awful.
That 2-week stretch to start September, though,
not easy.
Is going to be difficult.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And actually going back to, I mean, August actually might be harder because you play the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Now you play them at home, but still, they can't beat them ever.
Right.
You play Arizona, Baltimore, who's the best team in the National League East. Arizona, Miami's who's fighting for a playoff spot. Milwaukee is fighting for the division. So it's going to be a tough hill here. Like, it's not easy like they had earlier in the year where they had a 2-week stretch where you're like, they got to make some ground here, and then ended up shitting the bed.
This might be the 9-game stretch, to be honest. Pittsburgh, not Texas, but then Colorado. It's like at least 6 of those you feel decent.
They have that. That's why, yeah.
Like if you, let's just say you went 6-3 here. 2-1 against Pittsburgh. I'm making it up. Whatever. 3-0 against Pittsburgh. 2-1 against Colorado is 5-1, and then even 1-2 against Texas, and you're 6-3. You're 6-3 in the next 9 games. You're still under 500. You're a game under 500. You're in August. It's hard math without a 5-game winning streak. It's hard math without going 9-2 over an 11-game stretch, and for whatever reason, it hasn't come as of yet.
And then you start the stretch here with 4 against the Dodgers, 2 against Seattle, 3 against Arizona, 3 against Baltimore, 4 against Arizona, 3 against Miami, 3 against Milwaukee. All teams fighting for a playoff spot.
And let's be honest, even 3 at St. Louis is not exactly a walk in the park. It will not be a walk in the park that time of year. I'd be shocked.
No.
So, and then you're into September. You're right. I mean, it's like if you can play 550 baseball from that, from the Dodgers series on, like that feels like pretty good baseball. If you can play 550 baseball from August 4th on,
for the rest of the year,
I think you'd probably win about 83 games.
That's what I mean. Like that's a good stretch there.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to play 550 baseball against those teams.
That's a good stretch if you didn't fuck up your first 90 games of the season.
Yeah, into 100.
Like if you played good baseball, or at least you played competent baseball where you're a team that's serious and over 500 for the first 100 games. Like even if you're 52-48.
Yeah, definitely. You'd be right where you need to be.
And you play 550 baseball the rest of the way. That's a much, much better situation than where you're in now. So it's a tough ask, man.
It's the time of the night where we have these Soto Ohtani trade ideas. I'm not getting it. Here's the thing. One thing I know is Shohei Ohtani is not going to a team with a worse record than the Angels.
No.
And the Padres have a worse record than the Angels. So there's no way he's going from a team over 500 to a team under 500. So unless they go 7-0 over the next week, and they're still not doing a Soto for Ohtani trade. The Angels aren't. Angels are going to go take Soto for 2024 to do what? Miss out on the postseason again and have another free agent? So, I'm not doing the Ohtani trades until the offseason. We can entertain the Soto trades if you want, although he's not being traded.
He's not. I don't want to I'm not even thinking about a Juan Soto trade. Like that's the farthest thing from my mind.
I agree. I completely agree. I had something. Oh, there was something in the chat I want to pull up real quick. I know what it was. It was this idea that can't find it. Here it is. Murray, thanks, man. He says our pitching is tied for first in the National League in ERA with Atlanta. This is like the run differential thing. But we're at the time of the year where none of it even matters. Padres are like second in the National League in run differential. I think that's right. But they're 48-52. So when they win, they blow teams out. When they lose close games. That's not exactly a good characteristic. But yeah, their pitching is the reason why I think they're due to win 4, 5, 6 in a row at some point. I think it's a good point. But how can you have the best pitching in the National League and be under 500? That literally makes no sense.
That means your offense sucks.
Right, that is true.
Here's what I hope doesn't happen, because it is. I feel like it's inevitable in a season. You go through ebbs and flows, and with whatever your strength is of your team, inevitably has a stretch where they're just not great.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping, knock on wood here, that if this offense legitimately turns it around where they're actually consistent night in, night out for this upcoming month in August here, that you hope that the pitching doesn't revert and turn around. Now, revert to nothing. They haven't been bad this year, but
Right.
you get my point is like, you don't want the pitching to go through a rough stretch while your offense actually gets their shit together.
Yeah, it's like they can't get it going all in the right direction at the same time.
Yeah. And that's a worry. You hope it doesn't happen. You hope instead that the pitching stays, the starting pitching stays how good it's been all year, and then the hitting and the rest of the bullpen click, and you hope that you get a all clicking at once, right, for like a 2-week stretch where you can make up some legitimate ground here.
I want to say, didn't we talk about this recently? Like they haven't been over 500 since May 10th. I think that's right. It was either 10th or 20th.
I have it somewhere tweeted down. I remember the day they went under. I was like, when is the next time the Padres are above 500 or some bullshit?
I know, and it's been forever. I kind of want to look it up. My point being, I mean, we've been talking about this for months on end. I mean, months on end. And like at some point you're gonna have to do it, and you're gonna have to do it soon because you can't just go over 500 in the middle of September and then think you're gonna make the postseason. Let's see here. The last time they were over 500. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right year. No, I am. The last time they were over 500 was May 10th when they were 19 and 18. May 10th. I mean, that's a long time. And knowing it's going to take at least a 5-game win streak to get over 500, I mean, that's crazy. They're going to be 3 months under 500, 3 consecutive months under 500. It's way too long, and it's hard to explain. Guys, we do want to remind you about our partner here on the Wrap-Up Show, our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. It is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. You can see on the screen right now, underdogfantasy.com. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. You do not have to deposit $100. You deposit $10, you get the 100% deposit match up to $100. So again, promo code PADSWRAP, get a 100% deposit match up to $100. The pick'ems are so simple and easy to play. For example, Major League Baseball tomorrow. We can find some Padres that are playing tomorrow for a pick'em
versus the Pirates.
Tomorrow. I mean, Darvish is going to carve, right?
Tomorrow, sure.
Yeah, he's got to. I mean, this bad Pittsburgh team coming here, you have to find a way to like minimum win this series. So, I mean, higher than 7 strikeouts is kind of a big number. I'll do it anyway. Yeah, Machado higher than a half single. Yes. I'm on board for that. And then I'm going to couple it with maybe something in the MPB.
Oh, cool.
You know? Yeah, I think I could see Tatsuroyu Yaganamachi having more than a half total base.
It's higher.
Okay, so 25 on that pays 150. You insure it, it still pays 75. You don't even have to get all 3 right to win by insuring it. So again, underdogfantasy.com. And again, the Pick'ems promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, get a 100% deposit match up to $100. They got daily drafts going on, daily Pick'ems going on across all sports. The best and easiest place to play fantasy sports is with our friends at Underdog Fantasy and on the Underdog Fantasy app. I saw a super just rolled in from JD Gaucho. Thank you, JD Gaucho, for this very generous super. He says, best costumes Jim saw at Comic-Con. For me, it was a zombie Captain America and Piranha Plant from Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario.
Whatever. Same thing.
Literally not the same thing. The Chewbacca costume, like movie accurate, was really good. I thought the Megatron costume was really good. Like it was like a 10-foot Megatron, like a guy in a 10-foot costume dressed up as Megatron. It was crazy. And then I also liked Kingpin from Spider-Verse.
Oh,
you have no idea.
I thought you meant Kingpin, the movie, the bowling movie.
No. Kingpin from Spider-Verse.
No, I don't know what that means.
It's okay.
Now, did you go inside and like go on the rides or whatever?
I went inside, but there's no rides. If anything, the only rides there were lines. It was like a line after line. You would have hated it.
I would have hated it.
We even actually said like, dude, what if we brought John here? He would have been like, what is happening?
I would have gotten like a snow cone or something. They have food.
They had like nachos and like hot dogs
That
and
sounds terrible.
uh
Wait, so what'd you do? You waited in line to do what? To go to the bathroom?
no, we didn't wait in any lines because if we waited in a line, we would be there for like 3 hours.
So you just stood there and looked at people?
No, it's a like inside the convention center. The entire convention center is decked out with like booths that you can go to like either buy stuff or go see. Um, like the Star Wars section had all the new Ahsoka series. The Marvel section had the Marvels and like the costumes from the movies were there and like props.
So you could see it. So, but did you buy anything?
Yeah,
What'd you buy?
I bought a Endgame Fat Thor figurine eating a hot dog.
Can you show it to me?
No, because it's being shipped.
It's being shipped.
Yeah.
Are you going to go again next year? How does this change? Oh, I guess they have new shows and new characters.
It was honestly, it was a little disappointing. It was still fun, but because of the actors strike this year,
right? There's nobody there.
It was I thought there'd be more of it. There just wasn't, but it was still fun. It was still, I mean, still great to go to. I literally had like an authentic, like movie or show accurate, what is it? Mandalorian helmet that I wore.
Is this like going to the NBA playoffs, but the NBA players are on strike?
No,
it's not like going to see Lakers Warriors and like it's all like guys that are like crossing the picket line to play.
No,
I don't understand it. I'm gonna go at some point. No, I'm not. But send me a picture or something. I have no concept.
I sent you the pictures of me and
Chewbacca. You and like Chewbacca, but I want to see like what are these people doing all day?
What do you mean doing all day?
I don't get it.
It's like imagine going to a swap meet, but it's like for all nerds and Comic-Cons and comic books and action figures and like comics and video games. And
this is hurting my head.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the deal. We are back. Well, speaking of nerds, actually.
What?
Yeah, I like how you responded to that.
You're not going to ask me about the Barbie movie tonight?
Oh, you saw Barbie? Hold on. Before I do that, because no, I'm not. Before I do that, I think the link is pinned at the top of the chat. We were talking about these. I know it's weird. We're talking about friendship bracelets, but me and Jim are close friends, even though I don't like Comic-Con or Barbie, and he does.
And he always calls me an idiot. Makes me feel bad about myself.
I do call you an idiot, but you call me an idiot too.
True.
I'm also officiating your wedding. Anyway, we had these friendship bracelets we were promoting the other day, and then people were trying to buy them. Like, your promo code's not working. Well, now it's working. Promo code WrapUpShow10 in all caps. WrapUpShow10. If you want the Padres friendship bracelets, who doesn't? Let's be honest.
Everybody does.
One for you can give if you see us at Blind Burrow. One for me, one for Jim, one for you, type stuff.
Yes.
And these friendship bracelets say Machado and Tatis. But here's the other thing. And this will sell out, I've been told, because all these that we've promoted sell out. There's only 96. And you can't see it as of yet, but they are now pre-order available only. Machado commemorative 300th home run bobblehead. You can click the link pinned at the top of the chat. And I think it's pinned at the top of the chat, by the way. I'm not sure because I put the question up there. But promo code WrapUpShow10, WrapUpShow10 in all caps. You will get 10% off your order. But Jim, you are a big Foco bobblehead guy, aren't you?
Love Foco bobbleheads. The Manny Machado 300 home run bobblehead's going to be awesome. If you are not able to go like tomorrow to get the Yu Darvish bobblehead, by the way, Yu Darvish pitching on his bobblehead night. That's pretty cool.
Who's pitching on his bobblehead night? Darvish? Tomorrow's bobblehead?
Yeah, I was waiting for like your reaction.
I mean, I'm not going to be like. I mean, I think he's had bigger accomplishments in his career than pitching on his bobblehead night.
True. But if you can't make it to like get any of those bobbleheads, or you haven't been able to get any bobbleheads this year, Foco bobbleheads just as good. Actually better, honestly. So I would pre-order this thing right now if you guys want a Manny Machado bobblehead, like a really good one.
I agree. Great products, unbelievable craftsmanship. So if you want them, grab them before they're gone. And again, I just put the link in the chat. See, why didn't someone? This is a good point. Thank you, Brent. You got to speak John's language. Comic Con is like Antiques Roadshow. Why didn't you just say that?
Because I didn't think of that.
How about this? Jim, you should use a random number generator to invite 5 subscribers in the chat to your wedding. +1 or just the subscriber?
I love you guys,
But no.
but no.
I think it'd be cool if one person could enter to win.
I think do you think if we put the wedding on like YouTube live, like if we did like a live stream
People would watch.
of like the reception,
Yeah,
like
people would watch, other than the fact that you're getting married like literally during Padres Yankees like first inning
oh yeah,
of like the World Series, like October 29th.
oh yeah,
May of 2024, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if the game's at like 7, I'll be fine.
What time are you getting married?
Like a 4:30ish.
But there's gonna be a reception, right? Like a party, or is it just wedding and then see you guys later?
Well, yeah, no, 4:30 to 5 is like the wedding part, and then 5 to like 10 is like the party part.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. We'll work on this, Chad. I'll work on it.
Yeah.
I'll just invite random people.
Like I have a +30, right? I'm the
Yeah,
officiant.
I'm just gonna invite like random people.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna be back tomorrow with you here on the wrap-up show. First of all, we'll be back with you tomorrow on the radio 3 to 6. John and Jim, we're back in studio for the first time in a week after going to Vegas.
First time in like forever.
Fair play. Join us tomorrow 3. We're gonna get you ready for this homestand, which is critical, obviously, to whether the Padres will be buyers or sellers in the next week. So join us on San Diego Sports 760 or the iHeartRadio app tomorrow at 3. Then join us tomorrow night. We'll be with you following Padres Pirates Game 1. Yu Darvish on the mound for his bobblehead night, as Jim just said. In addition to that, please support our partners. Actually, if you're here, please subscribe. Year-round Padres content,
Yes.
exclusive year-round Padres content. We would love for you to subscribe. If you're here live or on replay, please subscribe. Smash the like button. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you're here on replay, we really do appreciate the super thanks. Great way to support this channel, the super thanks button. And please support our partners. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, our title sponsor. If you have insurance needs, he will save you $750 or more, and there's only one place to turn. It's to Mark. Click the link in the description down below. Aura, if you're looking to get healthier, all of their products are plant-based. Their co-founder, Will, is a San Diegan. Click the link in the description down below to find all of their products. And again, if you're looking to save money on fantasy sports, underdogfantasy.com, use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, and get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, promo code PADSWRAP, get a 100% deposit match up to $100, or just click the link in the description down below. Oh, how was Barbie?
Dude.
Why are you going to Barbie?
Because why not?
Exactly.
Like, no joke, John. This movie is going to smash records as far as money goes. It's already made over.
When you smash, right? You think it's Titanic or something?
Well, as of right now, it's made over $377 million.
What?
And it opened up on Thursday or Friday.
What?
We were like, me and Aaron were gonna go to the lot in La Jolla, or the lot in Liberty Station. I'm not kidding you, every single showing of this freaking movie from now until like next Friday, all sold out.
New York Times, Barbie and Oppenheimer set post-pandemic box office highs.
Yeah, like by a lot. Now, was the movie good? Not particularly. It was a lot. It actually was like one of those goofy movies that's trying to give you a message, and there's a lot of satire in there, and there were some fucking hilarious parts of this movie. There's some fourth wall breaks, which you probably don't know what that means.
They broke walls.
Yeah. And there were a lot of like adult funny jokes in it that I didn't expect. It was just a crazy, wacky movie. like honestly probably should have taken like an edible before this thing.
But you don't do that, do you?
No, I don't, but it'd been much more fun if I did. And everybody in the movie theater was wearing pink. Like everybody was wearing pink.
Why?
People,
Barbie.
People were legitimately cheering John in this
For
movie.
who? Barbie?
No, for fucking
Ken?
Pikachu.
Is Pikachu in this?
No.
First of all, you should start a Barbie channel. So you have all the info.
I don't really have all the info, but yeah, this movie's gonna smash. Everyone's wearing pink, dude. It was like.
Did you wear pink? Be honest.
Honestly, no. Aaron did though, but I did not wear pink.
Yeah. Do you have a picture of you and Aaron?
No, I do not. And anybody on the internet saying that Margot Robbie's like mid and like
who's saying that?
Not good looking or a 7 out of 10 or whatever that's supposed to mean. Like you're an idiot. Margot Robbie is one of the most beautiful like people on the planet.
And she's really Barbie, presumably.
And she's Barbie.
Who is Ken?
Ryan Gosling. So another beautiful human being.
Man, I'm missing out. Actually,
it was a lot, dude. I think if you went to the movie, you'd been like, after the movie over, you would have looked at Kristen or me and been like, "Why did you take me to this?"
Yeah, like there's a plot. I don't even care.
They were in Barbie Land, and then they went to the real world, and then they brought back people to Barbie Land, and like Will Ferrell's in the movie,
dude.
Oh my god, it's
I can't deal with it.
It's crazy, dude. It was crazy.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on the Radio 3. We're breaking down Barbie, and then again, post-game tomorrow. More Barbie talk.